Hi, welcome to Nicci's vlog. Today, the first of 4 or 5 vlogs that are going to be about North Carolina's bathroom law. I love America. I love everything about America. I've been to 36 states. I've never had a bad experience. I've performed in 9. I've skied in half of them. I absolutely love America. It's progressive and it's filled with bright, intelligent, smart people. And those bright, intelligent, smart people in 18 states and over 200 cities have passed legal laws to protect transgender people like me that says I can use the bathroom with which I identify, which means when I'm dressed like this, I can go into the ladies' room where I'm going to be safe rather than risk getting punched up or abused by going into the men's room. But America is not uniform in this. One state this month passed legislation, North Carolina, unpicking some legislation that was passed in North Carolina's biggest city, Charlotte. And that legislation was called HB2, or the bathroom law. And essentially, it says that I must use the men's room, regardless of how I present. Therefore, putting me, and perhaps more importantly, transgender kids, at risk. I say kids because, this law is predominantly about schools and public places. So, clearly, I think the law is not worth the paper it's written on. But we'll come back to that because I'm sure it was hurried legislation, and I'm sure the governor, now he's kind of, lost 3,500 jobs in the state and losing millions of dollars in repercussions. I'm sure they'll come to their senses and they'll fix the law. What worries me is the backlash from this in social media. So let's meet the face of the anti-bathroom law campaign. I'd like to introduce you to the beautiful, the stunning Corey Mason. Corey's photograph was posted by her photographer Meg online with a caption that says, "If this was your daughter, would you feel comfortable with her in the men's room?" And of course, no parent in the world would want to expose their beautiful child to that kind of predator's lair. Except Corey was born male. Her birth certificate has the wrong gender on it. And so because the birth certificate has the wrong gender on it, in North Carolina, at school, she would have to go and pee in the boys' room, where she's likely to get physically and emotionally, perhaps psychologically, abused. So this brave little girl, as the voice, as literally the face of that campaign, has exposed herself to a lot of trouble online. Why am I worried about it? Well, I'm a scout leader. I look after 70 teenagers. She is in my kind of age group. I look after 14 to 18-year-olds. I have 3 kids of my own. I like to say on stage that's one of each. And she is the age of my middle child, Edward. So I look at her and I feel very protective about protecting this child from any kind of abuse. And why do I care about that? Because I know the stats. I know that suicide rate is high in transgender people. They've got a lot of difficulties to deal with in their lives. And so whilst suicide rates in the general population are running at about 2%, in the transgender population we know it's more like 50%. Now, thank God not all of those are successful suicides, but it still means 25 times more likely to attempt suicide if you happen to be transgender. Much more at risk. Much more at risk. Now, here's the really frightening stat. If transgender teenagers have been bullied in any way, the risk jumps to 70%. So, I sort of think bullying then is not just obnoxious, but it's a hate crime. And it's something that we should stamp out. It is utterly unacceptable. Which is what upsets me about Corey's story. Because Corey has had a huge amount of social media attention. And in that mass, which is overall overwhelmingly positive because it's America, and America is, generally speaking, a positive, good country, there are a few freaks. And really worryingly, these freaks hide under the banner of Christianity in order to abuse and taunt and provide what I see as a hate crime. I'm going to name and shame a few of these people, particularly in my show. We're taking the show on the road soon. We're calling it To Pee or Not to Pee, and we're going to examine this issue and examine, in a funny way, hopefully, because I am a comic, the bathroom law and its implications. But let me focus today on this chap. I tried to make sure that this guy is not a minor. And I'm pretty certain he was born in 1992 or 1993. So he's very young compared to me, but he's very old compared to Curry. Here's his post of May 17th. I kind of most worried about the fact that we're using the Bible here to justify our arguments, but Leviticus 20:13, you remember that's the one I blogged about the other day. It says that a man shall not lie with another man unless he be stoned, which is really good for marijuana sales, but I suspect probably not what it was intended. The way I viewed Christianity, I kind of thought the New Testament, was God's second promise. And I seem to remember somewhere there Jesus saying, suffer the little children, that'll be the beautiful little children, to come to me. And I also remember him saying, he who is without sin cast the first stone. All of that seems to have gone past certain people's heads. Well, because we're going, this boy, that's mildly offensive, but we can probably forgive him for being an idiot. This boy is a filthy, wicked, disgusting, vile, evil, God-hating, low-life piece of dirt who is going to hell. Okay, your God, Mr. Nelson, and mine are not the same thing. This is hate. This is obnoxious. And to use the Bible to do it is just irresponsible. You have doubled the chances that this lady may think about suicide by being an obnoxious, evil, vile human being. I had a little troll through your dad's Facebook, and I found this from Chris, your father. This is what he had to say, right? Straight quote from the Bible, I think. For God hath not appointed us to wrath. Physician, heal thyself. If I were you, Mr. Nelson, I think you should have a good hard look at what sort of person this is. I think you're likely to find when you get to the pearly gates, you're unlikely to be judged favourably for bullying a minor. But that's what I think. I'd really like to know what you think, with the exception of Mr. Nelson, because I'm sure we probably all know that he doesn't think. He's probably sat at home playing Call of Duty and listening to thrash metal, which seems to be what his Facebook page is all about. And I'm sure having an intelligent conversation with him is not going to happen. His father seems very bright and very smart, although, politically not my cup of tea. Maybe Chris should have a chat with his son, because his son, I would suggest, is a bit of an embarrassment to him. But Chris, let me know. Let's have a debate. Let's see what you think. Go to my website at nickitake.com. You can get in touch with me at nickitake or on Facebook, #nickitake or /nickitake. I'm relatively easy to find. I'd love to know what you think. Anybody. Thanks for watching.